In 2010, Tau Beta Pi celebrated 125 years of promoting integrity and excellence in engineering. Join us as we look back at the most significant people, places, and events in that illustrious history, and as we look forward to many more years of contributions to engineering and bettering the human condition. In the spring of 1885 in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Dr. Edward H. Williams, Jr., a professor at Lehigh University, saw the need to create an honor society to recognize technical men for superior scholarship and exemplary character, in much the same way that Phi Beta Kappa had done for the liberal arts. Working alone, he conceived the organization, prepared a constitution, and planned all of the necessary details for its operation. On June 15, 1885, the first member of Tau Beta Pi was initiated. He was Irving A. Heikes, valedictorian of the Lehigh class of 1885. During his graduate work at Lehigh, Mr. Heikes assisted Dr. Williams in organizing the Pennsylvania Alpha chapter. In 1892, mechanical engineering professor Lester Breckenridge left Lehigh for Michigan State University and founded the Michigan Alpha chapter. In 1893, Lehigh professor John Flather joined the faculty at Purdue University and established Indiana Alpha. There were now enough chapters to hold a convention, and in 1895, the first convention was held in Cleveland. Those men could not possibly have envisioned what Tau Beta Pi has grown to become. During the early years of the organization, an executive council was elected each year. The 1905 convention elected a permanent secretary. Robert Clayton Matthews, known to his friends as Red, became Tau Beta Pi's first employee. He was paid $100 for his first year of work and would spend the next 41 years helping to build Tau Beta Pi. In 1907, Red Matthews moved the national headquarters to the campus of the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, which has become its home. Red created the catalog card and report system still used today, and wrote the standard ritual that, though modified somewhat, is still followed at every initiation. Red Matthews continued to be active after his retirement in 1947. The originator of acrobatic cheerleading, Red led conventions in the Tau Beta Pi Cheer, which he wrote in 1908. The same convention that elected Red Matthews also approved publication of a quarterly magazine. The Bent was first published by the Pennsylvania Alpha chapter in April of 1906. Years later, publication of the Bent was the responsibility of a board of alumni, and the editor remained an unpaid alumnus member until 1947. A.D. Moore, a man with a vision for the future of Tau Beta Pi, was elected president in 1924. The council that he led served for 6 years and established the fellowship program, which began in 1928 and has since awarded more than $5 million in stipends for graduate students. In 1925, the Council Bulletin was created to provide instructional information to the active collegiate members of Tau Beta Pi. In 1984, its name was shortened to the Bulletin. The 50th anniversary of Tau Beta Pi was observed in 1930 at Lehigh, just 45 years after its founding. The health of founder Williams was failing, so the dedication of the large bronze tablet in his honor was held 5 years early. Dr. Williams saw his organization grow to 63 active chapters and more than 21,000 members before his death in 1933. One highlight of the 1932 convention in Washington, D.C. was the planting of a black oak tree at Mount Vernon, the home of George Washington. Mr. Heikes, our first member, cast the first spade of earth, and the tree flourishes today, as does the organization it represents. The 1932 convention, whose attendance broke previous records, also included a visit to the White House, where President Herbert Hoover met with the delegates and alumni on the White House lawn. In 1936, Tau Beta Pi began to recognize outstanding women in the field of engineering. Catherine Cleveland Harrelson of Kentucky Alpha was the first to wear the women's badge. Although there were women eligible for membership as early as 1903, it was not until 1969 that they were offered full membership. By 2010, more than 70,000 women had been initiated. In 1942, Robert H. Nagel was a young civil engineer from New York Delta working in Knoxville, Tennessee. He agreed to edit the Bent to fill a sudden vacancy in that position. As an unpaid volunteer, Bob served as editor for 5 years. When Red Matthews retired in 1947, the convention increased the position of secretary-treasurer to full-time and added the duty of editor of the Bent to the office. Being the natural choice, Bob was appointed as Red's successor, and he would lead Tau Beta Pi with distinction for the next 40 years. The 1956 convention established the Outstanding Chapter Award to recognize and encourage high-quality work by the chapters. This award was renamed in honor of R.C. Matthews in 1978. A Most Improved Chapter Award was created in 1971 and was later renamed to honor Bob Nagel. 1960 marked the 75th anniversary of Tau Beta Pi's founding, and once again, delegates convened at Lehigh. They placed a bronze Bent near the Williams plaque along the walk that leads to Williams Hall. The 1960s were a time of dramatic change in America, with economic expansion and productivity on the rise, and Tau Beta Pi changed significantly too. 31 new chapters were established in that decade, surpassed only by the 1970s, when 42 chapters, including 22 Sigma Tau chapters, were added. Until then, there were 2 general engineering honor societies in the United States, Tau Beta Pi and Sigma Tau. Sigma Tau was founded in 1904 at the University of Nebraska and grew to 34 chapters and 40,000 members. The 2 organizations agreed to merge in 1974. Now, engineering excellence was recognized by a single, strong organization. Because the 5 council members could not possibly visit each chapter every year, in 1976, the district program was created to increase interaction between national officials and the chapters. 2 or more directors are now appointed to assist chapters in each of 16 geographic districts. In 1981, the Laureate program was created to promote liberal culture in engineering colleges, a stated purpose of Tau Beta Pi. This program recognizes students who have made outstanding contributions in areas outside engineering, such as athletics, the arts, and community service. Bob Nagel retired in 1982, and James Frola of Tennessee Alpha was appointed Secretary-Treasurer. Jim, who had been a chapter president and District 12 director, managed the national headquarters staff and served as editor of the Bent. In 1999, Jim was given the title of Executive Director. By its 100th birthday in 1985, Tau Beta Pi had grown to 192 collegiate chapters and more than 296,000 members. Famed writer Isaac Asimov and Lee Iacocca, then chairman of the Chrysler Corporation, each spoke to crowds of 700 people at Lehigh. The association received dozens of congratulatory proclamations from the country's most highly regarded professional and honor societies. During the 1990s, Tau Beta Pi made great strides in establishing itself as more than an honor society. It was a decade of innovation in service, recognition, and educational opportunities, and in the use of technology and image enhancement. Engineering Futures was established in 1988. Taught on campuses by Tau Beta Pi volunteers, the curriculum prepares engineering students for their careers by teaching interpersonal skills and teamwork development. Engineering Futures has grown to serve more than 3,000 engineering students each year. In the 1990s, Tau Beta Pi established the National Outstanding Advisor Award to recognize outstanding performance among chapter advisors. The Distinguished Alumnus Award was created to recognize alumni who have demonstrated outstanding adherence to the ideals of Tau Beta Pi and to fostering a spirit of liberal culture in our society. Marion and Capers McDonald established the annual McDonald Mentoring Award to celebrate those who have supported the personal and professional development of their students and colleagues as excellent mentors or advisors. The Scholarship Program was established in 1998. Given to members for their senior year of full-time study, the scholarships are funded by gifts from alumni and corporations, the largest being a $4.3 million bequest from Roy Record, Kansas Alpha 1929. The statement, Integrity and Excellence in Engineering, was established as Tau Beta Pi's creed in 1991, and a logo that retained the traditional bent but depicted it in a contemporary form was unveiled in 1999. This logo was incorporated into all new apparel and informational materials. By its 125th anniversary in 2010, Tau Beta Pi had grown to 236 collegiate chapters and more than 517,000 members. The convention returned to Lehigh, and the Bent was rededicated in a more prominent location in front of Packard Laboratory.
This brings us full circle back to the sculpture that we rededicate today. It signifies the official badge of Tau Beta Pi called the Bent. It is a watch key in the shape of the bent of a trestle. The trestle is the load-bearing part of a bridge, representing Tau Beta Pi's steadfast principle, integrity, and excellence in engineering. Integrity, excellence, solving problems, and bettering the human condition. These values bind Lehigh University and Tau Beta Pi together, and it is an honor to celebrate this anniversary together. Welcome home and congratulations on this milestone anniversary. David, would you unveil the bent?
In April 2011, the National Honor Society became international when Texas A&M University at Qatar founded the first chapter outside the United States and initiated 20 members. 2011 also saw the retirement of Jim Frola as Executive Director after 29 years of service. Curtis Gomolinski, Michigan Epsilon 2001, succeeded Jim as Tau Beta Pi's fourth Executive Director at the close of the 2011 convention. Kurt was initiated into Tau Beta Pi in 1998 and served as Chapter President. He served from 2002 to 2011 as a District 7 Director and Chapter Advisor of Michigan Gamma. As Tau Beta Pi continues into its third century of service, our members take leadership responsibilities not only for their honor society, but for their nations and their planet as well. The Premier Engineering Honor Society stands ready to lead its members and the engineering profession forward to new heights of achievement. Tau Beta Pi truly is integrity and excellence in engineering.